Facilitation was basically like my job. Secret being, drumroll, I don't like facilitation. I actually don't like to be the person in the room telling people what to do, summarising things. It just does not do it for me. I can do it, but I don't like it. I like to do the structure in the background. So thinking about like what conversations need to be had, how we can make that fun and engaging, and how we can make it really powerful. So that's the bit that lights me up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to There's a Workshop for That. Today I'm joined by someone who proudly calls herself Little Miss Card Deck. And honestly, I love that energy already. Kate Hase is a creativity coach, the founder of Imagine If. She designs playful, thoughtful activities, games, and workshops that help people explore ideas in new ways. And if you're ever thought, I wish I had a tool to make this conversation more engaging, I think Kate is probably already designing it. But in this episode, we want to dive into something that might seem simple, but is actually incredibly powerful in facilitation: card decks. Why do they work so well? How do you design one that actually creates transformation, not just pretty prompts? And what's this whole deck adventure that Kate is proposing? This is what we will be talking about. Hi, Kate. How are you doing?
Yeah, all right, thank you. We're starting to see sunshine over here, so it always feels better.
So, Kate, you are in the UK, right?
Yeah.
And we met through different connections. You joined also the Fit for Facilitation community end of the year, and you have a great person we will probably talk about in this community that is also a card deck lovers. I would say there are two persons who are also card deck lovers in the co-founder teams. This is Alexander Eisenstädter and Mehdi. And so before we dive into the topic, I would love to hear, what is your background? How did you come into facilitation and what you are doing today? I'm very curious about it.
Well, like most facilitators, I think it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened. So my first memory of facilitating is at an away day. I don't remember how I became the person who was going to facilitate something. I don't remember the topic. I just remember there were about 50 people and lots of post-it notes, which is basically facilitation, isn't it? And then I kind of, over various mergers and things in the business, I ended up in the organizational development team, and then facilitation was basically like my job. But secret being, drumroll, I don't like facilitation. I actually don't like to be the person in the room telling people what to do, summarising things. It just does not do it for me. I can do it, but I don't like it. What I really like is designing what will happen in the room. And that's kind of how I got to why I do what I do, because I don't like to be the facilitator. I understand it and I know what you need, but I like to do the structure in the background. So thinking about like what conversations need to be had, how we can make that fun and engaging, and how we can make it really powerful. So that's the bit that lights me up.
And I didn't know this, that you don't like to facilitate yourself, but it means that as you were starting to facilitate, then you start to help your peers to create the design of the workshops and to ask themselves the right question and to find out the right activities.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the first workshop you designed? Can you remember this?
It may have been. Again, team away days seemed to become my thing. So I remember designing some kind of like days. I did it alongside my the chief operating officer or whatever they were called at the time, and we themed them. So I remember we had a whole team away day that was themed around like travel. We had another one that was themed around a football pitch. So we talked about like what are our rules and what's considered offside for us and all that kind of thing. So kind of that's probably the first ones that I designed.
And do you know, in the meantime, I guess it's a few years ago, do you have an idea on how much sessions you designed for other or your help designs?
absolutely no idea. It's the kind of stat that you think, like, if you were starting again, you'd absolutely track things like that, wouldn't you? But once you get so many years in, you're like, I
Yeah.
don't know, lots?
But at some point, if I understand, well, you were in a corporate world, right? So you
Yeah.
started there, and then at some point you quit the corporate world to work on your own.
Yeah, I was in the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, and I took voluntary redundancy. I had never planned to set up on my own and have a business. I wanted another job.
Hmm.
But what I didn't want was another job that was just like the same,
Hmm.
but with a different name over the door. I wanted something with more flexibility and the chance to work with different companies and have people come to me asking for stuff rather than me being someone who says, you have to have this, which is what corporate often feels like.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that was 8.5 years ago.
8.5 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
It's
incredible.
long. Yeah. And which kind of people are coming now to you to ask you for your services?
Facilitators who are the only person in their business. So people like us who have
Hmm.
left a job, set up on their own, very often they're people who like facilitating, love facilitating, but don't necessarily thrive on sitting on their own at home and figuring out what to do.
Hmm.
So they actually miss that element of teamwork that you would get in a corporate, maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like a teammate for hire, someone called me once as well.
Yeah, it's nice. I experience it myself. It's difficult when you have been in corporates very long and you have colleagues to who you can ask for
Yeah,
advice or their opinion on something. It's difficult to not have a partner where you can exchange and get some brilliant idea you would not come up with on
yeah.
your own.
I think sometimes also people just want to say, this is what I've done. Is it okay? So
Yeah,
sometimes it's just like a confidence boost of like, yeah, that's going to work. That sounds great. And like, yeah, that's the kind of thing that you just kind of miss out on, isn't it?
yeah. So you help people to design the workshops, means they come with an outcome and all the information that you need to design the workshop. You design also, or you create activities that are not existing, so new activities. So it means you are a very
Yeah.
creative person, right?
Yeah. I'm both like, I'm really creative, but also really practical, which is perfect because it means I can like dream up an idea and then actually figure out how it works.
Mm-hmm,
And I
mm-hmm.
have some of my clients come to me and they're like, I've got this thing, but I've got no idea what to do with it. So I have to like help figure it out. And I really like that. It's like kind of like investigation, problem solving. But yeah, so both sides. And yeah, that's my perfect blend.
Nice. And so you are a card deck lovers. Tell me more about
Addict.
this addiction. Tell me more about this addiction. How did it start?
So I was going to say, I think it probably started when I went to the Insights Discovery Workshop and they used a
Hmm.
card deck there. It was the power of you both get a chance to look at it and keep things. Also, you get to give things away. And it was just, I just remember like the feeling of that and how it was much more, it was much nicer than just like talking, like having an actual physical thing that you could attach ideas or thoughts to. And that was probably 15 years ago, I think. And then I went to a tarot workshop as well. So then I had like tarot cards. So I have like
Okay.
this kind of, again, there were cards and there's something in your hand and they allowed you to explore things differently. Um, and whether you believe in tarot or not, like I know people who've used them as coaching tools just because it's like, it's what you see. It almost doesn't
Hmm.
matter. And then I think it's probably spiraled from there with card decks on all sorts of things like images, kind of reflection activities, workshop design,
Quotes.
like all
Yeah.
of the things. So yeah, I've got quite a few.
I think people are not aware on how much opportunities, possibilities you have to take a card, to use card decks in your facilitation. So
Mm,
you told right now images. I can remember a facilitation conference I was in September and I was coming in the room and then you could choose a card
yeah.
with an image on it. I think I have it here. representing how you feel today. I think I got this. Or what in which
That's a lovely
state you
card.
come to the workshop. But it can be also a conversation starter where you have some questions on it. I think I have here the card decks from Jan Keck. So these are kind of card
Yep.
decks. There are a lot of them.
Yep.
There are also cards where you can use it with how you call it, a little mat in the middle, and then you have an input and an output, and the participants need to find out what to use. And there are other cards in the middle. These are the card decks from
Yep.
Alex Eisenstetter. Do you have
Hmm.
other examples of way to use card decks?
Yeah, I think like they are so vast. I think they can be used for almost anything. I mean, I've done escape rooms that have been just a card deck, and
Hmm.
I think they could be puzzles, they could be processes, they can be models that people, like a jigsaw. They could be almost like a jigsaw where people have parts and they have to put them together. If you think of going back to like tarot, you have spreads. So you can have a sheet that's got choose a card for here and choose a card for here, and then like write things around the outside of it. There's just
Hmm.
like so much variety that you can do with
Hmm.
them. That is why I think they're really appealing.
Nice. And how do you think for the participants, what is the big benefits for the participants to have these artifacts during a workshop?
So I think for one thing, like having something in your hand, like something physical, like I think it shifts energy and changes the dynamic. I think, if we think of like a reflection question, having something that you can look at and focus on, I think it helps like take the spotlight off you. So it doesn't make you feel like everyone's looking at you waiting for the perfect answer. Doesn't mean
Hmm.
and it stops you like just looking at the facilitator, because that can sometimes feel really awkward. Kind of just like puts a barrier there. I think they're slightly more playful, and I think that can make things feel lighter, but with the ability to go deeper.
Hmm.
And I also think the playful element, like, it makes people more curious, more willing to try things, and kind of more honest, like more willing to be honest and say what they think as well. And then if you think about like introducing a whole card deck on top of that, like there's just so many possibilities to what can happen.
Yeah. And for the facilitators, what is the advantage of the tool?
Like if you've got a really good deck, I think as a facilitator, it helps you to take a step back sometimes. So like it's not
Hmm.
all on you. You can
Hmm.
set something up with cards and then you can just step back and let them explore it. So kind of like gives you a breather. I think also a really good card deck can speed up your design. So if you've already got a deck that's got all the pieces and all the activities that go with it, like you just need to top and tail it, don't you? And kind of
Yeah.
observe and do the summary at the end. So actually you've got an hour's activity that you haven't had to do anything with. I also, like we talked about, like you can create your own. So I think
Hmm.
lots of facilitators already have things that they do. So they have like frameworks, processes, models, prompts. Like they could turn those into a card deck and make something that's uniquely theirs. And
Yeah.
like for people I know who've done that, like when you have participants who are still using them or talking about them like months and years on, like that's an amazing lasting impression, isn't it?
Yeah. I think they remember the workshop, especially because of this artifact.
Yeah, and it's different.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so if you have a framework, you can turn it in a card deck and then create
Yeah.
activities around this framework. For example, I was thinking about turning a framework into a card deck, and the framework was a neuroscience based framework on how to
Mhm.
engage people. So how to activate them, how to make them forecasting, how make them experience, however. And it was like, okay, I would create a card deck where they would have all the categories after I have explained them what it is about. And then they could try to put all the cards with the category name in the right order. So this would be a
Yep.
first activity. How would you
Yeah.
put how our brain works in the right order? What do you think about this? Is a good starter for the conversations, for example. But what is for you a great card deck? How would you define a great card deck?
I personally like a card deck that can do multiple things.
Hmm.
So, for example, a card deck where you could use it just in a coaching conversation, or you could use it with teams, or you could, you could use all of the cards, or you could get people just to pick two cards. Like something that has the flexibility to be used in multiple ways.
Hmm.
But it's always got to be about like helping people think differently about something. And, it's got to have a purpose. It's not just because it looks nice.
Yeah. So people are coming to you also to create their card decks, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
what are the 3 or the 4 questions that you should ask yourself if you would
hmm
like to create a card deck?
Okay. So I've got 3 questions. So the first one is, what insight, problem, or conversation do you want your deck to support? So that's like, what is the deck for?
Hmm.
I think that's really important. The second one is, what is the deck helping people do? So is that reflect? Is it have deeper conversations? Is it open up to new ideas? And then the third question is, what do you already have that could be a deck? So lots of facilitators have, like we said, frameworks, processes, things that they already use, but they're very often in slides or in a PDF. Well, actually, like, how
Hmm.
can we translate that into a deck so that, yeah, I mean, if you've already got something, why not start there and make something kind of quicker?
I think we are not aware about what we have. So out there, if you are interested on building a card deck, ask yourself, what do I have already that I use in most
Yeah.
of my workshops that I could use and turn in a card deck? I mean, I can remember Alex Eisenstetter. Was designing a workshop with him and he presented me, it was 2 years ago, I guess. He presented me 5 cards with emojis on it. And it was
hmm
so brilliant because the emojis were from super happy, curious face, I don't want to be here face. So all the 5 emojis that represent your emotions of being in the room.
hmm
And he's using this, so or the participants are using this to say how they feel. So during
Yeah.
the whole workshop, and I this is such a simple idea, but it's so good. You can put also these 5 cards on a table and have a like a coin or something where they can just
hmm
put on the card how they feel and start the conversation during a small group discussion.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
the great thing about cards, isn't it? Like, they can be really, really simple, or they
yeah.
could be really complex. Like, it depends what your aim is.
So you have created a whole deck adventure
hmm
to help us facilitators create our card deck. So here I want to know everything, and I'm sure that everyone is very curious to know about this. How does it work?
So, deck adventure helps facilitators go from like, I've got an idea, to I've got a deck in my hands or
Hmm.
on a digital platform. It is a course, like a self paced course or a VIP support offer that takes people through what I've called deck adventure, which is 9 steps. So, the idea of deck adventure is you're going around an island and you are basically creating your own treasure. So you stop off at different kind of like places along the way, and we'll stop at, start at idea aisles, which is all about like those first ideas, like what could my card deck be? We move through creating the content, thinking about like, what is it going to be, physical or digital? How do I create the artwork, which we'll come back to in a minute. My favorite place on the deck adventure is gameplay glade. So that is the, how do we use the deck? What games and activities can we do with it? So
Around.
that was when I was talking earlier about like a deck that does multiple things.
Hmm.
We test it, we refine it, and then we end up at Victory Valley where we celebrate what we have created. So the idea is that it helps reduce overwhelm, because very often, like, you get started in something and then you hit a point where you're like, there's so much I don't know what to do, and people get stuck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also helps people not get stuck in perfectionism. I have been there myself, um, often there. So yeah, like reducing overwhelm, reducing perfectionism by making decisions along the way and kind of helping people at those niggly points where they might get stuck. And also, like, I know from creating card decks, the first one, I had to figure it all out as I went along, and it would just be really nice if I didn't have to do that. So that's what I've tried to create for other people.
Nice. What is the one card deck that you created with someone that really stayed in your mind because it was really clever, smart, or there? I'm not talking about the design. I'm talking about how to
Yeah.
use the cards. Are there some of them that you can really remember?
Like, my first card deck was a collaboration with someone, and that one holds like a really, like, I constantly go back to that one for 3 reasons. One, so it's called Playing with Strengths. So one, it really works. Like, it allows people to explore their true strengths, not just the stuff they're good at, but the stuff that, like, really, like, lights them up. And I've used that in coaching conversations. I used it in groups. I've used it with friends and family. I know people who've done our workshop and then went off and changed their job because they realised their strengths weren't being used properly. I love it because it's got the memories of it being the first and all the, like, the experimenting and figuring it out, and that's like a real precious memory. And then thirdly, like, people tell me they love it and that I get people coming back for more cards. So, like, the fact that I think it's really good and so do other people, like, that makes
Yeah.
a special deck, I think.
And is this something also that you created this to use it by yourself? Is it a card deck that you also sell for other
Yeah.
facilitators?
Yeah. Yeah, so I sell it, and it was a physical card deck that I used to send out to people. I've got a few of those left, but I also recently translated it into my Brand It Yourself series, which is
Hmm.
where people can buy the deck and add their own brand to it and have it printed. So when they go to workshops, it looks like it's theirs.
Oh, this is a great tool for facilitators then. And yeah,
Yeah,
you
just put your brand
didn't.
on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you do the deck adventure, it's
Yeah.
really about thinking really deeply about what you want to do, step by step, to not be overwhelmed,
Hmm.
and to have a good concept. And I guess you need to have the whole content before you start designing the card. But then when you or not, you disagree.
I don't think you need all of the refined content. I think you
Hmm.
can start thinking about what it might look like whilst you're still developing the content in the background. Sometimes
Yeah.
seeing it helps you figure out, oh, in that case, I need this.
Yeah, it's helped me also when I visualize something. So also when I create a mirror board, which is not a card deck, but when I
Yeah,
start to put some visuals on it, there are other ideas. It's unlock
yeah,
what I think. So I can imagine also that with the card decks, it's the same. So my little bird told me that when it comes then to designing the cards, you discovered the platform I Love Cards. So do you want to
yeah.
tell us a little bit more about that? Because I think you are creating something then with Alex, or
Yeah,
you
so I
are.
think me and Alex connected over our love of cards. What a surprise.
Yeah,
And the fact that I've got this, like, course that help people figure out what their cards would be. But he has developed a platform that helps them make those cards, which is one of the really, like, tricky things, I think. Like, that's one of the stops on deck adventure is, like, how are you going to design it? Are you going to do it yourself? Is it someone else? And having designed lots of card decks myself on various different things, I know, like, the friction and the annoyance that you have with things. So seeing I Love Cards is like a breath of fresh air, because you can design a deck really quickly in terms of, like, what it will look like, and have a deck that you can actually have printed. Cuts out loads of the friction. So I'm sure many people use Canva to design things. And you know that
yeah,
if you want to realign something on Canva, but you've got like 50 cards, you have to go through every one and realign everything. In I Love Cards, you click a few buttons and it aligns them all. It's like, oh, like so nice. So I think I Love Cards platform is just going to speed up the kind of actually getting your deck into something that looks good.
Yeah.
And it also allows people to create something that they can like quickly print off at home and test out, and then you can come back to it. Like we said, like once you've got your content refined, you can go back in and change it. So it's a really great kind of companion to creating your cards.
So now you joined forces, and now if you go to the deck adventure, you not only have all the steps to create the contents, but you can also design it with I Love Cards, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Deck Adventure is going to kind of point you at I Love Cards. And as Alex builds that platform, we'll add more in to help people kind of make it easy for them.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much. I would I would love to know what is your absolutely favorite card decks, because I guess you maybe it's a workshop card decks, but maybe it's another kind of card decks. I mean, if you have such a love for card decks, it
Yeah.
has not only to do with your job, but I guess generally.
Yeah.
So, what would be your favorite card deck?
So aside from playing with strengths that we've already talked about, which is definitely one of my favorites, I think I've started creating a side hustle of card decks. Side hustle, what a surprise. So I actually, like, I do art and things like that. So I've been creating like more arty card decks. So affirmations and things like that. And I'm really enjoying making those because it's just a different kind of branch from like very work focused. It's nice to have a bit more like free and open and
Yeah.
arty and creative. It's a very different kind of feel. It's a really nice kind of contrast as well.
And where can we see all your
Those.
work? You have a gallery somewhere, or how can we explore what
So
you do? Because I'm
for the work card decks, I've got a website. And for the arty card decks, I just shortly to open my Etsy store, which is called The Little Deck Company.
and can we have a sneak peek in it right now, or is it not prepared enough?
Is probably not prepared enough, if I'm honest. No. Do you know what I can do? I could show you. I do have some cards here on my desk, so I could give you a sneak peek
Oh,
this way. So
yeah, yeah,
these
yeah,
are
yeah,
all
yeah.
like arty deck
You can come
kind of. This is
closer
a.
to the. You can come closer to the.
Does that
Oh,
work? So this was
yeah.
all like the topic of this was self love. So like this one
Huh?
says, I believe in. I can't even read it
Confident.
backwards. I breathe in confidence.
I breathe in confidence. Trust. Nice.
I trust my intuition. So like they've just got kind of. And I really like these are so messy, aren't they? Like my work ones are really refined and structured, and like they must be like this, and people must be able to add their color here, therefore it has to be like this. Whereas these ones are just like blah at the page, so it's like really nice.
You don't need to have everything clean. I mean, our brain, not everything is clean. So you are working a lot with human emotions with
Yeah,
this card deck. So I
yeah.
think
And as a
it's a good,
perfectionist,
yeah.
it's really nice.
It's
It's a really I've used them as a kind of a like really pushing myself to it doesn't have to be perfect. And someone once said to me with art, like, if you don't like it, just add more layers. Like, just keep adding until you like it. So yeah,
it's
I'm
healing.
experimenting with that.
It's a healing
Exactly.
process of your perfectionism to create those card
Yeah.
decks.
Yes, for sure.
So thank you very, very much. If someone wants to join the deck adventure, I understood right that this is a self-paced course, right? So this is something that you
Yeah.
can just buy on your website.
There's two options. One is a self-paced course. There's no videos. It's all like workbooks and activities to help you kind of think
Okay.
things through. And the other option is like you can have calls, like one-to-one calls to help guide you through it. And some people like that because they want that sounding board to talk it all through with. So yeah, there's do it yourself or do it with me.
Good. So we will put, of course, all the information to connect with Kate on LinkedIn, to the deck adventure, to I Love Cards, to the Fit for Facilitation community, where you can also speak to Kate and to others. Thank you very, very much for coming. You're welcome.
Sure will.
And if I have a quick card deck ID I want to deepen, I know now that I can call you.
Yes, please. Little Miss Card Deck is ready and waiting.
Thank you, Kate. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.